As we move from Black History Month to Women's History Month, it's really important to ask who's attending events, who's speaking, whose insights are we learning from, and who's sitting in the room. My name is Dr. Janelle Abela. I talk about human interaction and learning theory. Welcome to Beyond the Playbook. This week, I want to give you a bite sized conversation about the way that we show up for Awareness Month and the way that we show up for events that highlight and celebrate the differences that people are making in our spaces. It's really critical conversation to have. I've noticed over the past month of Black History Month, and now as I'm entering Women's History Month, that it's the same people showing up in these rooms. It's Black employees showing up in spaces for Black History Month, and it's women showing up in spaces for Women's History Month and International Women's Day. And my question is why? This is not a trend that I'm just finding this year. This is actually something that I've noticed in previous years and kind of brushed it off. And yesterday, I entered a room with 175 incredible participants who wanted to participate in International Women's Day and have an opportunity to engage in conversations about women in manufacturing. But it was all women. And I started to think to myself, why am I teaching women about the problems that women have in their workplaces? Why am I telling women that they're harmed? We know the same thing happened in Black History Month. Why am I telling Black employees the harm that they're experiencing and the weight of the advocacy work that they're doing in their spaces? This is a conversation now that is ongoing and will continue into June as we enter Pride Month. And so I wanted to have a conversation with you to give you an opportunity to reflect on how you're showing up and how your workplace is showing up for change. There's a couple things I want to talk about today. First, I want to talk about why everyone should be attending these events. And it is not just something for the groups that are being celebrated and recognized and highlighted. And really, I'm asking you, what is that misconception? Why are only women showing up to Women's History Month events or International Women's Day events? This has happened in the past where I've offered opportunities for organizations to come join events, and they say, well, let's see if we can get all women. And yes, that's incredible. I love having the opportunity to engage with women in the workplace. I love the opportunity to have women celebrated and recognized and grow and given educational and training opportunities. But they're not always in decision-making positions. They're not always at the table in those discussions about how we can drive the force forward to celebrate, recognize, value, validate, and really motivate women in these spaces. And that's why this is a conversation about how everyone is coming in together. Because when we're not coming in together, we're actually widening the gap. If you continue to educate and raise awareness and empower women in these spaces over the next month, then you have a whole another demographic of people who aren't attending, who aren't learning, who aren't growing. That widens the gap because their experiences and their understanding of their experiences is growing, but there's no mitigation of the risk that they're experiencing, and there's no alleviation of the harm they're experiencing in these spaces. If we really want to do equity work, inclusion work, we want to shift our workplaces to be innovative and sustainable, we need to work together. We need to build that shared understanding of experience and allow the experience of women to be shared and heard and voiced and recognized and validated and acknowledged. And work needs to happen as a result of that awareness. We need to reduce those misconceptions and stereotypes. Telling women that they are talked over in meetings or tell them about the microaggressions they face or the policies that aren't inclusive isn't making the change the same way that if everyone knew of these challenges would. We talk about the strengthening of collaboration and belonging and the work that allyship is doing in this space. We need to have that collective momentum as we move forward and do this work together. When we're centering the population at these events, yeah, it's great. We get visibility, we get cultural affirmation, we get connection and community support. There's nothing more powerful than a room of 175 empowered women. But when those empowered women go back into their workplace today, tomorrow, the next day, they show up empowered, wanting to have that conversation with people who don't have the same understanding, then it becomes more challenging. And the weight and the burden of equity work becomes harm in addition to their day to day experiences. We need education through lived experience. We need to hear from people who are experiencing these harmful microaggressions, the assaults, the violence and harassment, the discrimination. We need to hear about those experiences, but everyone needs to hear those experiences and everyone needs to be empowered to do the work forward. The challenge is we need to find a balance. We need to do both. We can't do either or. It can't be, let's tell everyone about the experiences of women in our spaces and not empower women. We can't just empower women and not tell people about the experience in our spaces. They have to go hand in hand and really allow us to move forward together. We need to center the voices and the histories of women, the empowerment in their spaces, and we also need to invite participation from everyone. This is a learning process, it's a growth process, and it's a collective responsibility that we all have moving forward. This Women's History Month, I encourage you to take the opportunity to shift your approach. I want you to think about how we as a collective understand the realities of today and how we as a collective are shaping the future for tomorrow. There are a ton of resources out there, open education, even through Diverse Solutions. We offer a 4-part webinar series that is live on our site from last year, supplied in part with the Job Shop and West of Windsor. Reach out and engage in these resources. Do the hard learning yourself. I encourage you to attend events, attend awareness opportunities, learn and grow alongside the empowerment of women. We can empower and celebrate women this month, but everyone needs to be doing that work. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear about the shift that we need to have during these awareness months. I'm so excited because we're only on the 4th day. We have a whole month ahead of us. There's lots of opportunities. Check out the resources in the caption and really just grow together. Come with an open mind and be ready to make that shift as a group. I hope you have a wonderful International Women's Day coming up this March 8th and grow this Women's History Month. Thank you so much for joining me. Visit diversesolutions.ca to access our resources and grow with your teams.